Hey guys, Drunken Reaper here, back with another movie review. Yesterday I watched Love and Monsters on Netflix. For those who don't know, new film out. Stars Dylan O'Brien from Maze Runner as a guy named Joel Dawson who's trying to get 85 miles to his girlfriend Amy, who he's not been able to see since before the world was basically populated by giant bloodthirsty monsters. It came out all the way last year in the US. It received an on-demand rental release, but for some reason the UK didn't get it until Wednesday. But it released on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, which you most likely have, you can give it a watch. But that's not what you're here for. So what I think of Love and Monsters? Well, I say I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. The first thing I want to point out is it's definitely not your usual dystopian post-apocalypse film. It's instead of it being like bleak and miserable, it's actually a lot of fun. There's plenty of humour sprinkled throughout, and a lot of jokes that did get a laugh from me. Like right in the opening, there's a whole narration about how the world came to the state it was, and at one point Joel calls out Bob for not staying in his tank. It's pretty funny. And there's a whole funny thing of characters believing that Joel stole food from his colony, which that is paid off pretty well, but I won't spoil that. Talking of Joel, Dylan O'Brien is great in this film. He makes Joel a very, very lovable and character that you really come to care about, and you really want them to complete his journey. But it's not just him going on this journey. He's also accompanied by a dog named Boy. Boy is by now the standout of this film. He's adorable and absolutely steals every scene he's in. And the supporting cast is pretty good as well. Michael Rooker from Guardians of the Galaxy is in this as a survivor named Clyde, and he gets some pretty funny moments, as does Ariana Greenblatt, who plays Clive's accomplice, Minnow. They're both pretty funny and they make for a pretty good duo. Unfortunately, they're not in the film much, but the screen time they have, they're very entertaining, and if we get a sequel, I'd really love to see more of them. And another thing I really loved, the monsters, there's so many unique designs. They're not just big alien humanoid things, like they are actual creatures. At one point there's a giant ant which attacks Joel's colony at the start, and there's a giant cockroach, and giant rock snails and a big crab monster. There's so many unique monsters out there in the world that Joel inhabits, and they're a delight to watch. The effects for them are really stellar, and my one sort of complaint really is that some of the supporting cast, the character development isn't really there as it is for Joel. And they have Joel's girlfriend Amy. She's fine. she's not really in the film much, so she didn't really leave that much of an impression on me. But the one area where this definitely applies to the villains, but they're introduced about the second act, and it's not till like near the end of the film where we actually meet them. And to be honest, they're basically not really there for much, and we don't know really anything about them, and we don't really have much reason to care or sympathise with them. They just really seem like awful people who's just being awful. Oh, and one of them's Australian. You know, Flight of the Conchords were right about something. Never trust Australians. Yeah, the score is fine. It's the usual kind of score you hear in these sorts of films. Although some pieces have like a kind of country guitar tinge to them, which gives it a sort of interesting feel. But yeah. Oh, and the ending leaves it off in a really interesting place that potentially hints at a sequel, which I really hope gets made. I'd love to see more of this world and these characters. This film was just such fun. It was just such a blast of feel-good entertainment, which I think we need in the midst of what we're going through. Overall, I'm going to give Love and Monsters a 9 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Love and Monsters? What do you think of it? And would you like to see a sequel? And would you like to see more of this world, more of these characters? Would you like to see new characters? Stick it down in the comments. Quick little update. Later this week, or sometime soon anyway, I should have a Blu-ray collection video for 2021 up. So be on the lookout for that when that eventually drops. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.